Hey guys, what's happening? My name's Chris. Welcome to my garage. I'm having you guys over today because I'm in the midst of celebrating every mountain biker's favorite day. That's right, it's New Bike Day. So I want to jump right into it and show you this new beast, but I thought before I did that, I'd take a second to show you what I've been riding for the last few years and kind of explain why I went that way, because I feel like the mindset was a little bit unconventional for most people. So here it is. This is my 2019 Commencal Meta HT AM. I bought this bike in November 2018 and it's been my only ride ever since. I was looking at these bikes when I started hearing the term aggressive hardtail get thrown around a little more. I was also noticing more manufacturers making these bikes at a lower price point that were sort of built to take a punch. I feel like something like this is sort of the epitome of the underbike movement, which to me means you're saying that you don't need something with 150 millimeters of travel or more to go out and ride some rowdy trail. I liked the idea of having something that would challenge me a little bit more on the descents, but still be responsive and rigid on climbs and flow trails. The hardtails are great for this because they're super affordable, they're low maintenance, and they don't look so flashy that you're afraid to lock it up in front of a store or feel like you're overdoing it if you're riding it on the bike path with your kids. I literally did everything on this bike. So yeah, in late 2018, I sold my full suspension carbon bike and picked this boy up. I immediately started taking it through its paces, doing shuttle runs at Mount Wilson, riding the rocky chunk at Simi Valley, Sky Park Santa's Village. I even did a downhill race on it. Basically, anywhere I wanted to ride, this is what I brought, because it was the only bike I had. I got some funny looks from other riders sometimes, but I low-key enjoyed that too. In the end, I feel like having this bike was a great exercise in stripping away all the tech, all the linkage, all the suspension, and just getting out and riding trails. I feel like a lot of riders have the mindset like you need this much travel to ride, or you need this level of componentry to do this and that, or it's not gonna last or whatever. And I kind of wanted to test that theory and just see how the maybe not so top of the line stuff would hold up. And guess what? It did hold up. It was fine. For the first year I had the bike, nothing broke on it except for the NX rear derailleur. And that was kind of my fault because I was riding it in the snow. The jockey wheels jammed up with some ice and derailed the chain. I still tried to pedal, and so it twisted under the torque. My bad. So I bought this bike complete. It was Commencal's race build, so it came in at $2,000 and it was their top spec at the time. It was still a pretty modest build though. NX drivetrain, a RockShox Lyric 150mm travel fork, 150mm travel KS dropper, and SRAM Guide T brakes. The SRAM brakes worked fine for a little bit, but I ended up switching them out for XT4 piston brakes, and that's just a feel preference on my part. My only real mechanical issue I've had repeatedly over time with this bike is in the bottom bracket. The way these NX cranks connect to the bottom bracket is called a spline drive system, and it really limits what you can do when you replace the bottom bracket. There's only one replacement bottom bracket you can put in there, and it's weak. On the bearing cartridge, it actually says for cross country only. I was a little shocked to see that on this bike that's sold as an all mountain or an enduro hardtail. It's no wonder it doesn't hold up over time when the bike is being ridden like an all mountain bike. I was a little shocked, honestly, that Commencal went that way. I know they're just trying to keep it a budget bike, but come on, man. Other than that, 1,600 miles later, the thing is solid. The frame, the stem, the bars, everything's no worse for wear. I have had to reassemble the cassette a couple of times because it started developing play between the cogs. After taking it apart, cleaning it, and retightening it, the problem went away. It's come back once, I just did the same thing and it's working fine again. I kind of think the free hub might need to be replaced. The only real notable upgrade I made to the bike, aside from the brakes, was by swapping out the 150mm stock dropper with this P&W Rainier 200mm dropper. Long travel droppers are the Once you get used to riding a bike with one, you can never go back, especially if you're someone like me whose height is all legs. All right, that's enough about the old, so buckle in, because it's about to get hot in here. Okay. Let's not get carried away. This is my 2021 Specialized Stumpjumper Evo Comp. It's a carbon frame with a Fox 36 fork, a Fox DPX2 rear shock, and an SLX drivetrain and SLX brakes. Got 150 millimeters of travel in the back, 160 up front. I'm feeling good about this build. It leaves me a little bit of room to upgrade over time as things break or if I get curious about how to make things better. But I'm just gonna keep running it as is until I have some problems. When I started shopping around, I had my eye on a few different bikes out there. My criteria was basically get a full suspension bike with modern geometry, 65 degrees or slacker angle on the head tube, and 75 degrees or steeper on the seat tube, and no more than 150 millimeters of travel in the rear shock. I didn't have a preference on 27.5 versus 29-inch wheels. I see the benefits on each wheel size, and I honestly could go either direction there. I really like the vibes of the Transition Scout and the Yeti SB140, among many others that I came across on the Pinkbike Buy Sell page. Although after about a month of searching, I was kind of getting discouraged. Then one day, this Evo popped up on Pinkbike. The original owner had it for 12 days and rode it twice and decided he wanted longer travel. Because of COVID, bike shops aren't demoing bikes right now, so he had to buy it to try it, which I totally understand. So yeah, this thing was basically brand new. I paid him like 300 bucks, less than MSRP, plus no sales tax. So overall, I saved about $700 or $800 over buying it new from a shop. Now I won't bore you with all the tech on this thing, but I will highlight the fact that it's got adjustable geometry. I can adjust the head tube angle anywhere from 63 degrees all the way up to 65.5 degrees. Also, on the Horst link back by the rear axle, it's got flip chips that can lengthen the wheelbase and also drop the bottom bracket up to 7 millimeters, which is pretty significant. Right now, I have it set up as slack and as low as it goes for ultimate party mode. It comes with 165 millimeter cranks, I think because the bottom bracket is so low, but I'm still pedal striking everywhere. It rides so good though, I'm just gonna keep using it like this and enjoy it. Compared to what I'm used to, this thing feels like a chunk-eating sled. I'm just a run-of-the-mill mountain bike rider, so I haven't really been able to ride dozens of different bikes, so I don't have a ton to compare it to. But from what I am used to, this thing feels way more settled on the trail. It slows down faster, it corners faster, and it eats chunk like it's not even there. There are things that I used to have to brace for on my hardtail that this thing just goes right over. The last thing I think is really rad, swap box. Finally, I have a place to keep all my stuff. Nah, just kidding. I just keep some Skittles, a tube, and a pump in there. It also comes with a little bladder that fits right at the bottom of the down tube. For those long pedal days, you can bring some extra hydro, which is pretty great. Now, so far, I've made a couple of sweet upgrades to help it work better for me. First things first, I had to put the PNW Loam 200 millimeter dropper on it to replace the 150 millimeter dropper that it came with. As I mentioned before, long leg Chris doesn't work with a 150 millimeter dropper. I mean, look at how I had to run the stock one to make it work for my long legs. Yeah, no bueno. I wasn't joking earlier when I said I was a size queen. The second thing I did was install the threaded 1UP EDC tool system in the steerer tube. I'm really impressed with the quality here. It looks great, it's very functional, and it was easy to install. And this is coming from someone that hasn't threaded anything since junior high metal shop. So that's it. I set the air in the shocks for my weight, threw some race face Chesters on there, and it's ready to run. Stay tuned for some rides on this thing to hear me gush about it even more. Thanks for watching my non-bike ride. See ya.